2,000 years after the departure of Jesus the Christ. The prophets are back to teach the real Jews, the 12 tribes of Israel, their true nationality. This is their campaign.
So, Shalom, Most High in Christ bless so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are Israel united in Christ, and we are here to teach you your nationality. That you are not blacks, you are not West Indians, you are not Haitians, you are not Guatemalans, you are not Mexicans. You are Israelites according to the Bible.
That's right.
Alright? Now, last time that I was in Newark, a brother said, you guys aren't even from Newark. You don't know about Newark. Why are you guys coming in Newark and coming and yelling at us? Right? Hold that. Give me Isaiah 58 and 1. Let me tell you why I'm speaking loudly to you so-called blacks and Hispanics in Newark on the corner of Broad and Market. Come on.
Isaiah 58 verse 1. Cry aloud.
So Isaiah, the prophet, says cry aloud. That means speak loudly. Come on.
Spare not.
Spare not. That means I'm not supposed to spare your feelings. Just like a father wouldn't spare his son's feelings if he loves them. I'm not supposed to spare your feelings. I'm supposed to keep 100 with you. Tell you how it is. Come on.
Lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
Like a trumpet. Like you can hear me across the street and down the block. That's what I'm commanded to do. I'm not supposed to speak softly like Joel Osteen, like Creflo Dollar, like all these Christian pastors out here. I'm supposed to exalt my voice. Read, come on.
And show my people their transgression.
And show my people their transgressions. What are transgressions? Sins, iniquities. Right? Now go to Psalm 94 verse 16. So brother told me, why are you guys coming into Newark and teaching us? You don't know anything about Newark. This is my response to that brother. Read Psalm 94 verse 16.
Psalms 94 verse 16. Who will rise up for me?
Now David is saying in the spirit of Christ, who will rise up for me? Now if you're saying, why are you coming into Newark? Why doesn't someone in Newark, one of you brothers, one of you men, correct your people? One of you men gonna tell your people, stop smoking weed, stop selling drugs, stop getting abortions, get out of Christianity, get out of Islam. Islam is rampant in Newark right now. Do you realize that Islam was given to you in slavery? You realize that, brother? My brother, is Islam, Ohio hat, my brother in Ohio hat, is Islam the black man's religion? It's not, right? How do we get Islam? My brother with the dreads, how do we get Islam? Now he gotta go. My brother in the white hat, how do we get Islam? He doesn't know. We got Islam in slavery. 7th century was when the sub-Saharan slave trade started. These so-called Arabs came to the west coast in the shores of Africa and took us to the Middle East. That's how we got Islam. So now that I'm revealing this to you, when is someone in Newark, when is someone in Broad Street gonna come and bring this out to their people? Someone in Broad Street has to come up, because you're saying, why are you here? Why are you in Newark? Because the Most High commanded me to come and teach my people. When is someone in Newark gonna come on Broad and Market Street and teach their people and tell them that selling weed is wrong, that whoremongering is wrong, sleeping with all these sisters is wrong, these sisters sleeping with all these brothers is wrong? When is someone in Broad and Market from Newark, New Jersey, from South Newark gonna come and teach their people? Read that, come on.
Who will rise up for me against the evildoers?
So who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Who are those evildoers? Joel Osteen, that's an evildoer. Let me explain myself. There's a hurricane just happened in Texas, right? Hurricane Harvey. Joel Osteen refused to open his church. Brother, am I lying? Am I lying, brother? He refused. You didn't hear it in the news? He refused to open up his church because he said, no one asked as a Christian pastor, should someone have to ask you to open your church to the people? That shows you that he's not a true shepherd. He's not a true shepherd of the flock that he so-called had in his church. He abandoned them to drown in the flood. So Joel Osteen is not a true shepherd of his people. He's not a true shepherd of his flock because he allowed his people, his so-called people of his congregation to drown. He didn't open up his church. He said his church was flooded, but it was perfectly dry. Those are the pastors that you look up to. Those are the evildoers that David is talking about in Psalms. Go back to Psalm 94 verse 16.
Psalms 94 verse 16. Who will rise up for me?
So who's going to rise up out of this low state? Who's going to rise up from being Benjamin? From being West Indian to being Benjamin? Who's going to rise up from being African American? Who's going to rise up from being Haitians and Mexicans? Read.
Against the evildoers.
Against the evildoers. Against Joel Osteen. Against Creflo Dollar. Against all these Christian pastors that preach prosperity unto you. And not salvation. Not the commandments of the Most High God. Give me Wisdom of Solomon 4:12. These religions, Christianity, Islam, that's running rampant in Newark right now. That's running rampant in Newark right now. It has bewitched you. It has hypnotized our people. It has hypnotized our people. It has put us in the matrix. You understand that? Read that. Wisdom of Solomon 4 verse 12. The scripture talks about that.
Wisdom of Solomon 4 verse 12. For the bewitching of naughtiness.
For the bewitching of naughtiness. When someone is bewitched, what does that mean? They're under a curse. They're under a spell. You understand what I'm saying? When you watch movies with witches, what do? They cast incantations and spells on people. Right? Read it again.
For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest.
For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure. What does obscure mean? That means to defile. That means to confuse. Read it again.
For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest.
Doth obscure things that are honest. Give me Romans 7. What is honest? Alright, my man. With the headphones. Let me see yourself for this song. So you Judah? Benjamin? Also you're from the West Indies? Okay. So now let me ask you a question. Where does the term West Indies come from? You don't know. Indies comes from the Latin word meaning indios, which means slave. You understand that? So when Christopher Columbus came to Jamaica and the Caribbeans on his 3 voyages, right? He said, you are Western slaves. You understand that? So West Indian is a title. It's a byword. You know what a byword is? What's a byword? Say it again? Okay, I mean, not really. A byword is something that's calling you out of term. Like calling me African American. Where does the term African American come from? Who coined that term? Where did that term come from? Somebody came up with that term. You know who came up with that term? Jesse Jackson. 1985. He came up with the term African American because he wanted so-called blacks to feel more included in America. You understand what I'm saying? He gave you the delusion of inclusion. Because are we equal in this country right now? How do you know that? Police, right? You said laws? Jail? What else? Economy? Are we not the lowest people in every sector you look, whether it be in politics? We don't have anyone representing us in the highest levels of politics. Economy. Look at us. Newark, East Orange, Irvington, Union, Compton, Detroit. Anywhere you go, the worst cities. Let me bring 432. Anywhere you go, any of the hoods, the ghettos that you go to, who populates them? Who builds them? We do. We build them. 432. The scriptures talk about that.
Baruch chapter 4 verse 32. Miserable are the cities which thy children serve.
Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. The prophet Baruch, who was a scribe for you know what Jeremiah was in the Bible? Not too short. He was a scribe for Jeremiah. Baruch said what?
Miserable are the cities which thy children serve.
So Baruch said, miserable are the cities which thy children serve. So wherever cities that the blacks and Hispanics are, wherever they populate, those cities are ruined. Economically, politically, mentally, and emotionally. They're at the bottom. Read it again.
Miserable are the cities which thy children serve.
Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. So whether you're in Newark, you're in Irvington, you're in East Orange, right? You're in Compton, you're in Detroit, what is it? Chicago, where 700 people were shot and killed last year, 2016. Miserable are those cities. But if you go to Livingston, you gotta pay attention, brother. When you go to Livingston, right? When you go to Maplewood, you go to Maplewood, South Orange. Is it like this? Is it come on the sidewalk? You smell weed everywhere. You smell cigarette smoke. Those streets are clean, right? Weed.
Miserable are the cities which thy children serve. Miserable is she that received thy son.
Miserable is she that received thy sons. So wherever the children of Israel go, the men, the women, the children, wherever they populate, those cities are in ruin. They're in desolation. You can't get a job. There's weed. There's drugs. There's boredom. There's fornication. Men sleeping with men. There's homosexuality. But if I were to go 15 minutes down into Maplewood or 20 minutes down into South Orange, you're not going to see that. Right? Now, why is that? How come everywhere we go is in desolation? Everywhere we go, we're the lowest. Everywhere we go, we can't get a job. Everywhere we go, we can't keep a job. Why is that? It's not a coincidence? My man, you're an aged brother. You have an answer for me for that question I just asked? What do you say, sis? We don't want to work?
We don't want to work.
We don't want to work? That's part of it. That's part of it. But that's not the sole reason, though. That's not the root problem.
It's jobs out there. You got to get out of here.
So, my brother, you have an answer for me? You're older, brother.
I got an answer. You say a lot of people don't want to work.
People don't want to work?
It's education.
What about those who do want to work, who have an education? Why is it that we as blacks and Hispanics are always the first fired and the last hired? Why is that? That's just a coincidence? Because let's say, how old are you? What do you say, sis?
What's something in your background history?
Our history. What happened in our history to cause that? She's on the right line. She's on the right path. What happened in our history to cause that? To cause us to be in the state that we're in today. Sis, I can't hear you. Sis, come over here. I can't hear you behind the bus sign. But brother, you have an answer for me? Why is that? What happened in our history to cause that? You don't know? It's alright. That's why we're here, to teach our people. Bring them back to the nationality. Give me Deuteronomy, give me 27 and verse 1.
Deuteronomy chapter 27 verse 1. And Moses with the elders of Israel.
Now you know who Moses was? It's okay to say you don't know. You know who Moses was?
I don't believe it.
You know what?
I don't believe it. He's not real to me.
Say it again.
He said he don't believe in Moses.
You don't believe in Moses? Why is that?
There's no real evidence of him being there or slaves being in Egypt.
There's no evidence of slaves being in Egypt?
Yes.
Get me Zechariah 8 verse 1. What? Because there's no what, evidence of what? Archaeological evidence, right? Of the bones?
There's no Jewish slaves in Egypt.
Okay. Give me Zechariah 8 verse 1.
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah 8 verse 1. There's a reason why there's no archaeological evidence of slaves being in Egypt. Have you ever been to Egypt? You haven't been to Egypt. So how would you know that?
Watch tapes.
About what?
I watch videos.
You watch videos. How do you know those videos? Why do you believe those videos without actual evidence? You've never been to Egypt, so how would you know?
Black movies. They're fun by black people.
Say it again. You're black. Come closer. I can't hear you.
They're fun by black. Fun by black people.
They're found by black people? Fun. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. Give me Jeremiah. This is why there's no archaeological evidence of slaves in Egypt, right? Read.
At that time, Jeremiah 8 verse 1. At that time, saith the Lord, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah.
They shall bring out the what?
The bones of the kings of Judah.
So they shall go into our graves and dig up our bones. You understand that? Read.
And the bones of the princes and the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their grave.
Out of their graves. So the bones were dug out of the graves, and what?
And they shall spread them abroad before the sun.
And they shall spread them abroad before the sun. Is that it? So no.
And the moon, and they have served after whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. Then shall they not be gathered, nor be buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth.
So we shall be for dung on the face of the earth. So what did they do? When the other nations came, right, they went into our graves, they dug up our bones, right? So there's no evidence there, no archaeological evidence there. Because we as black people want to see evidence. We're people of sight, we want to see it, right? So not because you can't see it, you don't believe that we were slaves in Egypt. You don't believe that we were ever in Egypt, right? Now give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. Let me see.
And the people there, they're not the real Egyptians.
Right. Excellent point. The people in Egypt today are not the real Egyptians. Get me Ezekiel. It says men of stature. Where is that?
13, I think.
Isaiah. What is that? Isaiah 29. 45. Isaiah 45. And they're men of stature. Come on.
Isaiah 45 verse 14. Thus said the Lord, the labor of Egypt and merchandise of Ethiopia and of the Sabians, men of stature.
Men of what?
Men of stature.
Men of stature. The ancient Egyptians and Ethiopians were men of stature. What is men of stature? What does that mean? You don't know? Men of stature mean men of height. You understand what I'm saying? Men of great height, not just height. Men of great height. They weren't 6'2". You watch basketball at all? A little bit. You know Manute Bol? You know who that is? You don't know who that is? Manute Bol wasn't a basketball player from Ethiopia. He was almost 8 feet tall. He was like 7'6", and he was short. If you look at his family lineage, all his brothers, his forefathers were 8 feet, 8'2", 8'5". They were very tall people. That's who the ancient Egyptians were. The ancient Egyptians are now residing in the Sudan. They're the ancient Sudanese and Watusi. Yes, ancient Sudanese and Watusi. So the people of Egypt today are not the true Egyptians, are not the ancient Egyptians. They are so-called Arabs. When you know that today, biblically, they're Ishmaelites. You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
That's why they're so light in color. That's why they're so light in color. Give me Matthew. Hold on. Give me Matthew 2:13. Because what color was Christ? Yeah, what color was Christ? How old are you? 18. I'm only a few years older than you. So you should know what I'm saying. What color was Christ? It was black. Now, give me Matthew 2:13.
Matthew chapter 2 verse 13.
So you know any history about Christ's birth? About when he was born, how, you know what I'm saying, what was happening around that time? What was happening? But around his birth, what was happening? Someone wanted to do something to him. You know? The king at the time, Herod, wanted to kill him because he knew there was a prophecy that a Messiah or a Savior shall rise. And obviously he wanted to keep his power. So he's not going to let somebody come and replace him. You understand what I'm saying? So he wanted to kill Christ. So Christ and his family, a black man who's the son of a black woman and a black man, fled into Egypt. Read that.
And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt.
And flee into Egypt. So now, what's your name, bro?
Yeah.
William? My name is Gabriel. Nice to meet you. So now, you know that Christ is a black man, right? Now the angel told Christ and his family to flee into Egypt. Right? You understand that part so far? So now, what color are the Egyptians? They're light skinned, right? So how would Christ be able to blend in with the Egyptians if he was a black man? If the Egyptians were light skinned people back then, how would Christ blend in? He wouldn't. Exactly, that's just common sense. Christ would not blend in if the Egyptians were light-skinned people of a lighter color. Herod would have went to Egypt, he would have spotted Christ, And what? Out of everybody, killed him. It just be like, let's say you were running from the law. Would you flee to China? Would you flee to Russia? Would you flee to India? Who would you flee? Africa. Some people look like you there, right? Exactly. Why would he flee to a place where people don't look like him? He fled to Egypt because the people of Egypt at that time, over 2,000 years ago, were the same color as him. So the Egyptians were dark-skinned people. Those are not the true Egyptians today. When they came into the land, what did they do? They dug up our graves, dug up our bones, so that when the generations came, people like you, William, I just turned 23. People like me, we wouldn't believe that slavery ever actually happened in Egypt. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they did things such as that. Now, what are the questions you have for me? Now you say you don't believe in the Bible, right? You don't believe in the Bible? Now why is that? Say it again. So we told story with Horus, the Egyptian god, and Isis. Really? Now how can you prove that? Prove that to me. So now you believe that Christ was, what is it, before you say anything, what does the scripture say Christ was born?
December 25th.
The scripture say that? But you said, but when did they say Horus was born? December 25th, right? Let's see, get me Luke chapter 2. Let's see when Christ was born. Because Egyptian and Islam and all those religions were never a black man's religion. And Christianity, that was never the black man's religion. Islam, 7th century, sub-Saharan slave trade. Christianity, 1619, transatlantic slave trade. All the religions we learned in the slave trade, you understand that? Now you said Isis, Horus, and you said Set, right? I've heard that story before. That Horus was born, was born December 25th, and that's what they got Christ from, right? Now read Luke 2:42.
Luke chapter 2 verse 40. And the child grew and waxed strong in spirit, filled with wisdom, and the grace of God,
This is talking about Christ,
was upon him. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover.
What is Passover? If you look on the calendar, around when does Passover fall? Passover falls in December? Get me Exodus 12 and 2. Let me show, because we as blacks and Hispanics have been miseducated. We have been brainwashed to believe things such as that. That the story and the birth of Christ is a retelling of the story of Isis, Horus, and Set, which is a complete lie. That's not true. Read that.
The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 2, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
It shall be of the first month of the year to you.
Deuteronomy 16:1.
Let's see when Passover is. Because you said it's in December, right? Let's see what the Bible says.
Deuteronomy 16 verse 1. Observe the month of Abib.
Observe the month of Abib. They just told Moses that in Exodus 12 that Abib is the first month of the year, right? Okay, come on.
Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover.
And keep the Passover. Where's the Bible dictionary? Give me a clip. Okay. So now read that again.
Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God.
So in the month of Abib, which you know is what month of the year? According to the Bible. I just read it. It's the first month of the year according to the Bible, right? So now they said observe the month of the Abib, which is what?
And keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God.
So Abib is the first month of the year, and in that same month was Passover. All right. So now give me the definition of Abib. Read where it's coming from.
This is the Compact Zondervan Bible Dictionary.
So this is a dictionary that was compiled compiled by biblical scholars, right? I didn't write this. I'm not that smart. But biblical scholars, they compiled this Bible. All right? Read.
Abib, an ear of corn, the pre-exile name of the first month of the year. After the exile, the name was changed to Nisan. It fell about the time of our March and early April.
About what?
March and early April.
So December and early January.
March and early April.
It fell about March, is that it? It fell about March and early April, right? Read it again. Beginning. Abib means what?
An ear of corn.
An ear of corn. Now when is corn going to be grown? December? When is it going to be grown? The spring, right? That was when the Passover was. That is Abib. That is the first month of the year. Now go back to Luke. Now why did I say that? Why did I say that? Let's see why I said that. Luke chapter 2 verse 42.
Luke chapter 2 verse 42. Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover.
At the feast of the Passover. So according to Deuteronomy 16 verse 1 and the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, that is when? That is spring, March to April, right? So Christ and his family went to Jerusalem during Passover, which is during spring. You understand that so far? All right, come on.
Now, and when he was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast.
We read it fast. We do it slow.
And when he was 12,
And what?
and when he was 12,
And when he was 12, meaning when he turned 12,
years old, they went up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast.
So after the custom of the feast, so during Passover they went to Jerusalem because it's commanded that we're to congregate for that high holy day, right? So during Passover they went to Jerusalem, which is in spring, which at the same time was when Christ turned 12. So when is Christ's birthday? When was Christ's day of birth according to the scripture? During what time? Huh? December? Nah. What was that? Have you paid attention to what I was saying? He went to Jerusalem during Passover, right? When he was how old? We just read it. When he was 12. When he turned 12. So he turned 12 during Passover, right? Now when was Passover? Spring. So when was Christ born? Spring. It's that simple. So that story of Isis, Horus, and Set, right? That unholy trinity that they're trying to push upon you has nothing to do with Christ. It's of the devil. You understand what I'm saying? It is not in the Bible. You will not find Isis, Horus, and Set in the Bible. Right? Give me a Right. And then Catholicism is just an extension of Egyptian customs. Hold that. Give me Revelation 11:8. The Bible talks about that. That Catholicism is just Roman Catholicism is just an extension of Egyptian customs. Did you know that? Give me Revelation 11 verse 8.
Revelations 11 verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. What is the greatest country on this earth right now? America. Is it even debatable? Does it even come close? It doesn't really come close. It doesn't come close at all. Political. They have political influence everywhere. That's why they have embassies in every single country. Economics. They're the most economically powerful country in the world. When it comes to everything, technology, they're the most powerful country right now. Read it again.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the streets of the great city. Is that happening now? Are our dead bodies not lying in the streets of Ferguson? Are the dead bodies not lying in the streets of Ferguson? In the streets of where else? In the streets of New York. Eric Garner. Are dead bodies not lying in the streets of these cities? Physically and spiritually. Because look at us. We're smoking cigarettes. We're smoking weed. Right? Our sisters are getting abortions. There's an abortion clinic in East, I looked it up. There's an abortion clinic in East Orange and Newark. Whether you pay attention to what I'm saying? There's an abortion clinic in every city that we're in the Bronx, in almost every major borough. Bronx, Queens and Brooklyn each have at least one abortion clinic. But if I go to Livingston, I'm not going to see that. If I go to Maplewood, I'm not going to see that. If I go to South Orange, I'm not going to see that. You understand what I'm saying? Read.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom.
Which spiritually is called Sodom. Now, I feel like you're not going to know that. I'm going to ask you anyway. What happened in Sodom and Gomorrah? You ever heard of that story? Sodom and Gomorrah consisted of 5 towns, right? Where there was heavy homosexuality going on. Heavy homosexual practices occurring. Understand what I'm saying? Now, was it not just a law passed by former President Obama that legalized something? What did he legalize that was a big deal? Nah, not weed. Not just that. Huh? Nah. Yes. Marriage, right? Gay marriage, right? Did he not legalize that? Exactly. So this is why America is an extension of Sodom, as well as what?
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
And Egypt. And Egypt. ISIS, Horus, and Set. That was taken on by the Roman Catholicism Church, which therefore translated into America. Which is why you believe that the story of Christ came from that story. Came from that fairy tale, because it's not true. Now give me Ezekiel 25, where it says that Egypt shall be base. You know what I want? So now, William, have you thought, why do blacks and Hispanics, why do they always aspire to Egypt? Why do they always want to say, and I'm Egyptian, bruh? You know what I'm saying? Every black person, every black man always wants to be from Egypt. That's the beginning of creation. That's where I hail from. They got the Eye of Horus tattooed on their shoulder. They got Isis, Horus, and Set tattooed on themselves. Why do we always glorify the Egypt?
29:14.
Explain to you. Give me Ezekiel 29 verse 14. Now, before I explain to you, let me show you the prophecy concerning Egypt. Let me show you.
Ezekiel 29 verse 14. And I will bring again the captivity of Egypt.
I will bring again the captivity of Egypt, come on.
And will cause them to return into the land of Patros, in the land of their habitation. And there shall be there a base kingdom.
A what?
A base kingdom.
A base kingdom. So, like I explained to you before, the Egyptians in Egypt today are not the true Egyptians. The Sudanese and the Watusi, those are the true Egyptians. The so-called Arabs came, removed them from the land, and took over the land and their identity. You understand what I'm saying? That's the same thing that happened to you. Same thing that happened to my forefathers, your forefathers, my foremothers, your foremothers. Same thing that happened to us, happened to them as well. They're a base people. You know, Egypt was one of the most powerful kingdoms on the earth at one point. You know that, right? That's why black men and black women aspire to be Egyptians, because that was one of the most powerful kingdoms at one point. However, what did Ezekiel say?
And there shall be there a base kingdom.
And they shall be a base kingdom. Egypt is no longer in power. Is Egypt in power today? What country is in power today? What country is ruling all other countries? Has embassies in all other countries? Bombing all other countries. Is it Egypt? It's not Egypt, right? It's America, right? So Egypt is a desolate country. It's a base kingdom. That is not who you should aspire to be. That is not who you should want to be like. Who should you want to be like? Get me, Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. Who should you aspire to be like, William? As you say you're 18, right? As an 18-year-old man or young man in America, who should you aspire to be like? Come on.
Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art an holy people.
Thou art an holy people. Hold that. Give me Leviticus 20:26. Because what is holy? What does that mean? Huh? Pure. What is pure? No evil. What is evil? You just giving me different words. I need you to explain it though. You don't know? It's okay if you don't know. What is holy? Me going to church every week? You know, putting $5 in the collection plate? That's holy? Catching the Holy Spirit? Catching the Holy Spirit? Is that holy? Hold on a second. Is that holy? Me speaking in tongues. Is that holy? Me flopping around and foaming at the mouth. Is that holy?
Hey.
It's not holy. Let's see what holy is. Come on.
Leviticus chapter 20 verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me.
And ye shall be holy unto me.
For I the Lord am holy, and have severed you from other people.
And have severed you from other people. Holy means what? Separate. That's what holy means. To be separate from other people. To separate yourselves from the customs of this world. You understand what I'm saying? Because as a black man, what are you conditioned to do? Hold on a second. Someone is always dying to know it. Every Friday, someone's always dying to know it. What, as a black man, have you been conditioned to aspire to be in America? Huh? On top? Uncle Tom? Yeah? But what career choices? What path did you choose for when you grow up? When you're a young black man, when you grow up, what do you want to be? What do they say? Got Uncle Tom, what do they say? When you were young, what did you want to be when you grew up? Huh? Baseball player. They say what? I want to be a baseball player. I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a football player. Right? I want to be a video model. I want to be an entertainer. They don't want to aspire things to help their people. They don't want to aspire to be things that will lift their nation up. They want to be LeBron James. They want to be Michael Jordan. They want to be Kevin Durant. They want to be Russell Westbrook. They want to be Michael Vick. They don't want to be a prophet of the Most High. Finish Deuteronomy 7:6.
For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God.
So you, William, as a Benjamite from the tribe of Benjamin, you are a holy people. You are a separate people. You understand that? You are not regular. You're not a regular person. Even though you've been conditioned to think so, your mind has been primed to think that you are a regular person. You are not. You understand what I'm saying? Read.
The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people.
The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people. Like, you have a favorite pair of shoes? You have a favorite pair of shoes? You have a favorite pair of headphones? Come on, work with me, will you? Huh? Yeah. So when you have a favorite something, what? You honor that above all things, right? Above other things, right? That's the same thing that God has done with the Israelites. Above the so-called white man. For the so-called Chinese man, for the so-called Arab man, you are above all of them. You understand that? That you are not equal to them. Even though you've been conditioned to think so. You've been conditioned to think you're equal to them. If anything, you're inferior to them. But the scriptures say what?
The Lord thy God have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. Above all people.
No, equal to all people.
Above all people.
No, to be friends with all people.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. William, what's your name, my brother? Sonny. Sonny. Where you see yourself on that sign, Sonny? Where you see yourself on that sign, Sonny?
Sorry, brother. Go ahead.
Where's your father from?
India.
India, okay. See now, William, where's your father from?
Georgia.
Georgia. Before Georgia. You don't know. Now you see how interesting it is. I asked Sonny, where's your father from? He said India. I asked you, you said you don't know. Now that's interesting, right? That's very interesting, right? Give me Deuteronomy 28. That's very interesting. He knows where his father's from, but you don't know. Because what? You've been cut off from your heritage. You've been cut off from who you are. Right? Give me give me Psalm 83. Give me Psalm 83. You've been cut off from your heritage of who you are. You don't know. That's why you say, I don't know who my father is. And he says, my father's from India. And did you see any hesitation when I asked him? It was automatic. It was fact. You understand what I'm saying? But with you, there was hesitation. You didn't know.
Psalms 83 verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
And enemies make a tumult. Who are the enemies of the blacks and Hispanics today? Huh? White people. Interesting. Why do you say that? They're the most dominant. That means what? They're the ones that are oppressing us the most, right? Okay. Huh? They're the ones in power. And then there are ones that are what? What are they doing to us? They're oppressing us. How? Police? What else? Government, politics, economics, socially, mentally, emotionally. Every way you can think of us being oppressed, they're doing that to us. Even things you don't see, they're doing that to us. You understand what I'm saying? Read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. What is some of that crafty counsel? Like them shuffling and funneling drugs into the ghettos in the 1980s. Right. And then arresting us in the 1990s for having those drugs. Right. You understand what I'm saying? That's the 3-strike rule. The 3-strike rule that they came up with. The mandatory minimum sentences that they came up with. Right. Those are some of the crafty counsels that they came up with against the blacks and Hispanics. Amongst things that you don't even know about. Read.
And consulted against the hidden ones.
Consulted against the hidden ones,
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Come and let us cut them off from being a nation. He knows who he is. You don't know who you are. I said, where's your forefather from? India. Fact. Second, I asked you. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where he's from. Georgia? What up before Georgia? I don't know. That's what has happened to the blacks and Hispanics. We've been cut off from our heritage. We've been removed from who we are, right?
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcasts, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.